Hey, what's up, everybody? Jesse Foster, aka Entranced. Weekly update here. It's been about 2 weeks, and I'm going to change up the format a little bit here, and talk a little bit about the stuff that's been going on lately, and some other stuff that's been going on in my life. Um, so over the last couple of weeks, I've hit a pretty significant downswing. I'll show you guys the graph in a minute, and it was pretty ugly. I started the month of April up about on a nice little 3K uptick. Things were going very well. I was playing 200 and 400. I only had about 9K on the site. I was playing with some pretty aggressive bankroll management, but since I don't really have too many problems moving down, and I use the Kelly criterion pretty well, plus I have the ability to reload, I think it's okay for me to be somewhat aggressive in my bankroll management. However, this time it didn't work out so well because around let's see here, well, I'm going to just go ahead and switch it over so you guys can see it. So here's the graph for last month in big blinds and EV adjusted as well. So you can see things were started off pretty well, and then kind of just the shit hit the fan, and it just got really, really ugly, really, really fast. So while this was happening, obviously, this is, well, maybe not obvious to you guys, but for me, this is the first significant downswing that I've hit in quite a while. I've been on the good side of variance for quite a while, so it was a little bit of a shock dealing with, the kind of sick things that can happen at a poker table when you run really, really poorly. And I kept, just kind of going back at it, thinking, it'll turn around as it usually does, um, and this time it just didn't. Things just got pretty ugly. So, and it just didn't get any better. So around this point right here, I started doing more hand history review, and what I found was that I was making some pretty significant mistakes in just technical mistakes, mostly just like probably playing a few too many hands, turning hands into bluffs in bad situations. The other things I found myself doing were, um, let me think. One thing that I was doing a lot of was trying to think my opponents were on a higher level just to justify my fanciness so I could play in my own kind of retarded style that I like to do when I play against other high thinking regs or high level regs, because you know with them you can kind of get in their head, and but maybe I was going a little too far, and one thing about leveling is that you always want to be just one level above your opponent. If you're two levels above your opponent, you might as well be one level below them, because you're just constantly going too far, and it just doesn't work. So this downswing has been pretty frustrating and pretty hard on the confidence. Especially being a coach. You really want to have a good winning record, obviously, but this is something that just happens, and it's part of the game. So it's been a wake up call for me. I have not ground hard in a while, and it's something I really want to get back into. Said that a lot, but that's something I'm actually doing now. So I've been studying more. I've been studying a lot more, and I've been really trying to do a couple of things with my time management. One of the things I'm doing is I'm just not smoking as much weed as I did before. If you guys didn't know that already, yeah, I smoke weed kind of recreationally. It used to be a thing where or not try, but I ended up smoking just about every night, just kind of to wind down at the end of the day. And what I found is that my motivation is just not there for the next day. I'm not as efficient. I don't seem to work quite as hard. And, so in the same thing with alcohol, like when I do consume alcohol, the next day is sort of recovering. I wake up later. I generally stay up later when I'm drinking with friends. I mean, usually for me, it's all in social situations, but so what I'm going to try and do is kind of stay away from like the party scene and just really grind it out. And so I've been waking up early doing hand history reviews. Waking up at like 8:30 or 9 in the morning. Tomorrow I'm waking up at 7:30 a.m. voluntarily, which seems like the craziest idea anyone has ever thought of. um, so it's I'm making some changes and I'm finding a lot of mistakes in my game, but I'm also finding that the last 6 months, all the time I've spent, thinking about poker, helping students, and learning new software programs have really helped me in my study habits as I'm just have a larger knowledge base that I can now apply to playing again. So I'm confident that this next month is going to go much better because I have better study habits and I'm kind of doing the things, getting back to the things that made me successful in the first place. So I hope that at the end of the month, when I do make a video with my graph, that it'll reflect that as well. So I'll show you guys just kind of what I have roughly planned for the week. Let's see here. Where is it? Alright, so what I've got planned for this week is about 25 hours of play, 15 hours of coaching, more time studying than what is listed there. I will probably do something like 6 or 7 hours of, actually let's go ahead and put 7 hours of hand history review. I'm just really focused right now on getting in a lot of hand history review. So as we can see here, maybe I won't be able to get my 20 hours of play in. Okay, well, that's somewhat reasonable. We'll just kind of see how it works out this week. I'm not going to be planning out the week like I usually do in Google Calendar, simply for the reason that I've been finding that that method is not working as much as I would like to, because it tends to create a lot of anxiety in me to plan everything out beforehand, because typically, with the way a lifestyle professional poker player is, and being a coach, you're constantly adjusting your schedule, for students, or because maybe you're not feeling right at that time to play a session, or maybe there's some social event that you want to go to, or something like that where you want to adjust your schedule. So the key thing for me is, making sure that I'm not partying too much, and that when I am working, I'm working hard and I'm focused, and that I'm not taking too many, or smoking too much weed or drinking too much, cutting down my mind-altering substances, so that when I do work, I'm just totally, focused, because those things do have a lasting effect on you. So, yep. And I'm going to try and finish a couple of videos. This one's been on my list for like the last month. Finish Ace Poker Drills video. I need to stop procrastinating on that. Just get it done. It's pretty much already done. Finish a video on 4-bet bluffing. Just kind of like a very, very basic tutorial on the math of 4-bet bluffing, and some kind of like some of the considerations, things that you'll want to think about. Yeah, and I might also make a chart for that as well. Should be good. So, I think that's pretty much it for the week. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And, oh yeah, one other thing that did happen this week, and I'll go back to the webcam for this. So, I withdrew a bank wire for about $2K, and it hit my account on 420, which is sort of ironic because it is, if you guys aren't familiar with 420, it's like kind of it's like a stoner or marijuana smokers holiday in the U.S. Like, everybody who smokes weed regularly tends to smoke a lot of weed on that day. I didn't smoke too much, mainly in the evening when I was done with everything for the day, as I typically do. But anyway, so the money hits my account, and then 2 days later, 1,000 of that $2,000 bank wire is withdrawn from my account, and my bank charges me a $100 legal fee, saying, well, actually not really saying anything. They just took the money out of the account, and I'm like, looking at it because I need to pay my bills, and I'm like, okay, well, why is this money on my account? So I go down to my branch, to the bank is Wells Fargo, And I go down to my branch and talk to the receptionist. She hooks me up with a personal banker, and we kind of talk over what exactly happened. He calls their corporate office, and turns out what the people I need to talk to are the legal department. And I'm like, what I was sort of worried about at the whole time, obviously being a poker player, is that maybe this is like the Department of Justice cracking down on cash out, and they're coming after me, which is kind of like a paranoid thing because they don't really come after players. Otherwise, there's a reason why they don't come after players, because as long as they just go after payment processors, we'll never fight back. But if they started putting players in jail, or confiscating funds from players, then you would have a lot more of an uproar, I think, on a national level. So, but that's my theory. But anyway, so they take $1,000 out of my account, and they don't answer our phone calls, me or the personal banker. They just, apparently they're super busy, and to me, it's like, okay, and you can't even leave a voicemail. At least the first few days, we couldn't leave a voicemail. To me, it's like, how do you just take $1,100 out of my account? Don't tell me why. It's just, and don't notify me. There was no notification whatsoever. If I hadn't checked my account, then I wouldn't have noticed. And sometimes I don't check my account for a couple of days. I mean, I would have noticed that money was missing, obviously, but it's like, are you serious? Not even a phone call? So to me, it just really made me angry, because what they did, I mean, I feel like it should be illegal. People should not be able to just take money out of your account, even if it is the bank itself, without notifying you. I mean, that is my money. I'm allowing them to hold it. I've signed it over to them to hold the money, but it is still my money. It is not their right to just take it whenever they want and then not notify me and then not allow me to contact them. So, but that's just the way it is, and as a poker player and just as a citizen, I'm just one guy, and we're essentially powerless against those banks because they hold the power in the relationship. I mean, they have huge legal teams, the laws are written in favor of them, and I don't know, it just makes me feel powerless and kind of upset with the way the world works, which is kind of silly because I can't really do anything to control it. But anyway, so that was a little frustrating. Later on, I found out it was not part of the Department of Justice. It was just my California state taxes. I've been making my payments on them. I report all my winnings, which I don't think a lot of poker players do, but I report all my winnings, and I get taxed at like 30% between my federal, state, and personal income tax. Which is pretty insane, especially given the fact that, we're going to make your job illegal, but we're still going to tax you 30% because we're the government. Yeah, so they take $1,000 out of my account because they say I haven't been paying, but of course I have been paying. It's been like $250 a month, taken out of my account by electronic transfer, but apparently they did this, so at least my taxes are paid now for California, which is cool, I guess. But it's frustrating that I also got charged a $100 legal fee, but I'm not really going to fight it because the amount of time it's going to take for me to prove that, yes, the money was coming out of my account, the $250 a month, and this is wrongfully taken from me, it's going to take me 5-10 hours, and my time could just be better spent grinding. So unfortunately, it's kind of like just have to accept the fact that I'm getting fucked by the government and the banking system, and just kind of keep on fighting or moving forward. That's probably not the best move as a citizen, because if I do feel those things are wrong, I should stand up against them and make my mark. But the way the current economy is and my financial situation is I need to focus on making money and not focus on a bunch of things that aren't going to make me money, even if it might yield me a little bit of money in return. Eventually I'm going to have to pay that money in taxes anyway, so I'm like, it's done. And also, during the whole thing, my parents are freaking out because I told them about it, I just told them about it, and they're freaking out. They think it's the Department of Justice are coming after me, and they're like, my mom thinks like I'm gonna go to prison or something like that, and I'm like, Jesus. Now it's like I have to spend so much time telling people, like, yes, what I do is legit. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm playing poker on the internet. I'm not scamming anybody. I'm not committing bank fraud. I'm just playing poker. And so then something like this happened. It's like, God, now I have to explain it all over again. So anyway, this has been Jesse Foster ranting endlessly about my life. If you've made it through this part, thank you. You're a good listener, and I hope you have a good day. And yeah, let me know if you watch this thing all the way through, and what you think and what your reaction to it is, and what do you think we can do to stop this sort of stuff from happening. Anyway, take it easy. Bye.